Sonali Khedkar. With me, we have Mr. Girish Jogi, who is the Vice President, Volunteer Development. We will start today's webinar in a few minutes. Before that, let me take you through our agenda. PM Forum will start in some time and will continue for an hour, after which we will take a break for 10 minutes. During the break, we will be running our PMI presentation. At the end of the session, we will have Q&A followed by vote of thanks and certificate giving to our esteemed speaker. If there are any questions, please type your questions in the chat box and your questions will be answered by our esteemed speaker. We have two important announcements. At the end of the session, we request all participants to provide feedback, which will help us improve our upcoming sessions. PDU details along with the set of instructions to claim PDUs will be provided to all our participants through mail ID, which was used during the registration process. Let me introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Subodh Srivastav. Mr. Subodh joined ONGC in 1983 as Assistant Executive Engineer and has worked at different locations such as Mumbai, Assam, Gujarat in different capacities on different projects. He superannuated from ONGC in October 2021 as Executive Director while holding the charge of Head Offshore Works in Mumbai. He has given lectures to graduate trainees of ONGC regularly on topics like turbines and turbo compressors. Mr. Subodh has also visited many countries like Japan, Germany, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and USA for varied official assignments. He has handled several offshore high-value construction projects in Mumbai as project manager and head of offshore works. Today, Mr. Subodh will speak on the topic project management of lump sum turnkey contracts. So over to you, Mr. Subodh. Thank you very much for accepting this session today.
Thank you, Sonali madam. Let me share the screen first.
Right. Yeah, we can see your presentation.
Yeah. Very good morning to all the members present, PMI members present. And I know that you all are certified PMPs. So what I will be discussing today is project management of lump sum turnkey contracts. Well, first let me introduce. I am basically a mechanical engineer, pass out from Vikram University, Ujjain in 1982. And then I did my diploma in management from Indira Gandhi Open University in 1990. And I became PMP in 2011 when ONGC gave me an opportunity to get attached with PMI USA. And I was a member of PMI Mumbai for a long time till I was transferred to Assam from Mumbai from that time. But I again joined Mumbai in 2017, but I could not become a member of this thing. But I am still continuing to renew my PMP status. So my PMP status is still there. So I will start with my presentation with initial slides about project management. But as you all are PMPs and know about project management, so I will just skip through these slides very quickly, and then I will come to my topic of today. Definition of project: it is a piece of work often involving many people that is planned and organized carefully. Another definition is a project is any undertaking carried out individually or collaboratively and possibly involving research or design that is carefully planned to achieve a particular aim. A project is a set of tasks that must be completed in order to arrive at a particular goal or outcome. The definition of project as per PMI, you all know a project is a temporary endeavor undertaking to create a product, service, or it is temporary in nature because it has a definite beginning and end. An end is reached when the project objectives have been achieved. So you all know about it, so I will just skip. Then types of project. There are traditional projects. These are run sequentially in phases, and they are typically having initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and then closure. Then there are agile projects. These are mainly used in software projects. They are people focused and adaptive. They also typically have short turnaround time. Then remote projects management is usually used by distributed team that seldom meet in person. Handling freelance contributors is an example of remote projects. Then agency projects are outsourced to an agency that is likely to have projects with multiple clients. So this type of project we will be discussing in the subsequent slides. As you know, there are 5 phases of project management: initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and controlling, and then closure. The project mainly consists of 3 main components: cost, schedule, and scope. So they are all interrelated, and any change in any of these 3 components affect the other 2. So the complete project schedule revolves around all 3 components of project management. As you all know, there are 9 knowledge areas of project management. One is integration management, time management, quality management, communication management, procurement management, scope management, cost management, human resource management, and risk management. So I will be discussing in subsequent slide how we apply these knowledge areas in our projects. Project management in ONGC. Projects in ONGC are executed by engineering services. Onshore projects are handled by onshore engineering services, which is situated in Delhi, and offshore projects are handled by offshore engineering services, which is handled from Mumbai. However, offshore projects of South area, they are done by our team at Kakinada. So before starting the topic of lump sum turnkey contract, I would like to show a picture how is our project done. This is a well platform. We also call it as an unmanned platform because no person lives on this platform, and the production round the clock comes from this platform. So basically, we have more than 200 such platforms in our offshore, which produce oil and gas, and then we transport it to a group gathering station or a process platform where the crude and gas are separated. Crude, water and gas, they are all separated. Water is drained back into the sea, and oil and gas are transported to the shore. So for this constructing this well platform, you can see on the left side there are many pipes going down the sea. They are all the well platforms. So a well platform may consist of 6 slots, 9 slots, 12 slots, or even 16 slots, depending upon the potential of that particular area for producing oil and gas. So there will be 9 wells or 6 wells or 12 wells, depending upon the potential of that area. And when the production starts coming from these wells, then we cannot keep it at this place. So we have to transport it to a process platform where it will be processed and oil and gas will be sent to the shore. So for that we need to lay a pipeline to carry this well fluid to process platform. So we lay, along with this construction of this installation and commissioning of this platform, we also lay subsea pipeline, maybe 8-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, depending upon the production from the platform. We lay that line also to the process platform. And we have a network of subsea pipelines all over the field, which runs in hundreds of kilometers. So if basically a well platform is an unmanned platform, nobody lives on this platform. People come here, as you can see, there is a helideck on the right top. So people come here by chopper whenever there is a problem in the well, and if it is closed because of some safety reason or something, then they come here and they open the well and production will normalize. So they come here for normal maintenance of the platform. So they come in the morning and they go back to the process platform in the evening. So generally there is nobody who lives on the platform. So there are many facilities on this platform we have to provide. One is, you can see there is helideck, and you can see there are many small panels. They are all solar panels for charging our batteries. So batteries are there for providing electricity to our controls. Fire and gas panels are there. Then autocon panel is there, which is also called a shutdown panel. Then we have got test separators there. We have got many manifolds there. We have got a bunkhouse there. So for charging these batteries, we have got solar panel. So and then we have got a few chemical dosing pumps, because the well fluid which comes out from the below the seabed, we have to treat it with some chemicals. So we have chemical dosing pumps on this also. Initially, earlier in the 80s and 90s, we used to have a generator there, a fire water pump there for firefighting of this, and generator to produce electricity for lighting this thing and other purposes. But now we don't have anything. We don't have generators there. We have got navigation lights which are powered by our batteries on the platform. So these are the facilities on a well platform. So you can understand the complexity of this project, that how we construct this. So basically there are two parts of this well platform. One is under the sea, which we call as a jacket. I will come in subsequent slides how we install the jacket in the seabed. And other is top side, which is above the water. We call it decks also. So well platforms consist of these facilities, and a process platforms has got many more facilities. We have got gas compression system, we have got pumping system, we have got air compression system, we have got power generation system. So there are many more systems on a process platform. So because of the complexity of the nature of project, we generally give it on a lump sum turnkey basis. So I will discuss about that in the subsequent slide. Types of jobs in offshore. Normally, as I told you, there are more than 200 well platforms, and there are about 12 to 13 process platforms. So construction of well platforms and process platform is one type of job. The replacement of subsea pipelines. As I told you, to evacuate this oil from well platform to a process platform, there is a wide network of running in hundreds of kilometers subsea pipelines. So as our field is more than 40 years old, so pipelines need to be replaced on a regular basis. Apart from laying new pipelines when new platforms are coming, laying of new pipelines is there, but we also have a rolling plan for replacing these subsea pipelines. So there are separate vessels who are designed to lay these pipelines, subsea pipelines. On the deck of the vessel, they keep on welding the joints, and then slowly vessel moves away and the pipeline is lowered on the seabed. So that is another job which we do in offshore, in our offshore projects. Then there are safety related jobs like painting of platforms. As you know, that seawater is very, very corrosive and humidity is very high in offshore. So the platform decks and floors, they get corroded, pipelines get corroded very fast. So we have to do regular painting of the platform. So that is one of the projects which we do for safety of this thing. And then revamping of existing platform. Suppose one part of this, our power generation system, if it goes bad, then we revamp that platform and bring new power generation system. Similarly, if compressors are old, we replace the compressor. So those jobs are also we are taking up, revamping of existing platforms. Coming to the definition of lump sum turnkey project, a lump sum turnkey, LSTK we call it, is a combination of lump sum contract and turnkey. A lump sum contract is a type of contract under which we pay to the contractor a lump sum amount, and contractor is supposed or required to complete the project at his financial risk. And then turnkey specifies the that the scope of work include startup and completing the project. So he has to complete, once he is awarded this project on lump sum turnkey basis, he has to complete it at his own financial risk. The well platforms we are installing in offshore, they are spanning for a period of 2 to 3 years. And one more thing I would like to tell you is that offshore construction period, because when we go to the offshore for installing the jacket and decks, we need to have a calm sea. So we have got our construction season in offshore. Construction season means after monsoon, from 15th September, we start the offshore construction activities and we end up by 15th of May, because during monsoon, because of high tides and heavy winds, we cannot handle these projects. We cannot install and construct our well platforms and subsea pipeline. So our season is from 15th of September to 15th of May. And during that period only, we execute our offshore activities. However, the construction of these platforms in contractors' yard, that continues to be there during monsoon also. But transportation of this to offshore and installation and commissioning, that take place only during the working window of our season. We call it construction season. So a project may span over 2 construction season, 3 construction season. We always define it in that terms only, construction season. It is a 2 season work or it is a 3 season work. That all depends on the magnitude of the platform. All our projects are high mega value projects, amounting in millions of dollars. So since they are very complex in nature, so we always try to give them on lump sum turnkey basis. The advantages of lump sum turnkey EPC contracts, we always give it to an EPC contractor. EPC is engineering, procurement, and construction. So all these things, engineering, right from engineering, procurement, and construction, every activity has to be done by the contractor. So for us, there are many advantages of LSTK in contract. One is single point responsibility. We give it to a single contractor who is solely responsible right from this beginning of the project till the commissioning of the platform. He is the one single point in contact for us that you have to complete this within the schedule. Then fixed price contract. Once we award this contract on LSTK basis, there is fixed price that you have to complete this project at this price. Beyond that, if anything happens, it is at the risk and cost of the contractor. Then firm completion date. In the beginning, while we place NOA, notice of award, that time itself we define that this is the completion date by which you have to complete this project. Then minimum risk, because the contractor has got a proven track record of installing the and constructing these well platforms earlier also. So risks are minimized because we are not going to a new contractor. Then improved efficiency and reduce cost. Since he has done it in earlier, so he has got experience and he knows how to cut down the costs on the construction of the platform or subsea pipeline. Activities and project management. First is engineering consultancy. We also hire sometimes external consultants for engineering. However, now our design section is capable of doing the engineering of the platform. Then facility optimization. Suppose there are in one project there are 5 well platforms to be constructed, and then we have to take these well fluid to process platform. So we decide the facilities and optimize the facilities so that the well fluid is taken to the process platform in an optimized manner. We see what all are the facilities we can curtail on that platform, and then we optimize the facilities of the platform. As I told you, there are many systems on a well platform: gas detection system, fire protection system, battery charging system, then batteries. So we have to optimize all these facilities. Then technological upgradation. There are many, as we progress, there are many technological upgradations. So we go for a latest technology. Like we have now started putting micro turbines on offshore platforms, which can generate power using the gas of the platform, natural gas, which is coming from the well fluid, coming along with the well fluid. So we are having micro turbines, which are miniature turbines of around 30 kilowatts or 65 kilowatt, 200 kilowatt, up to 200 kilowatts, we can generate with the help of those micro turbines. So technological upgradation continues with every project. Then tendering and award to EPC contract. We do the tendering and we award the contract to an EPC contractor who has got experience, past experience of constructing similar facilities. Then contract execution. Then project management steps. First of all, project planning and conceptualization takes place, in which we have an MDT. I will cover it in subsequent slide. We have got before developing a field, we generally make a MDT, which is a multidisciplinary team who goes through the data of that field, and then they submit a feasibility report that how to develop that field and whether it is commercially viable to go for drilling of so many wells in the offshore. So there are various parameters which we go through to decide upon whether to go for drilling in that field or not and taking out production from that field or not. Then scope of work preparation and approval. We prepare the scope of work and then get the management approval for it. Then execution methodology we decide. Then tendering, evaluation and award of contract. Then project execution. So generally planning should be such that we have minimum hindrance during project execution. We should give sufficient time for planning of the project. The more the time we give in planning, less will be the chances of surprises during project execution. Then project cost management, project time management, project scope management, project quality management, project human resource management, project communication management, project risk management, project safety management. So these all will be discussed in subsequent slides, because when we go for execution of the project, we have to take care of the time schedule and cost. We should not go in for cost overrun or time overrun of the project. Project planning and conceptualization. As I told you, first of all, we have to identify the project or scheme. A scheme may consist of many projects. A scheme, basically, we call it a scheme when we decide to develop a field with deciding how many well platforms will be there, what will be their potential of production, and then we decide for going for drilling of those platforms. So drilling is another section who do this service to us, and they come and drill the wells there. So a project, a scheme consists of many projects. Then formation MDT, as I told you, we form a multidisciplinary team. They prepare a feasibility report, we call it FR. Once that FR is approved by the management, then only we go for construction of the platform in the offshore field. Then identification of project teams. Then cost estimates. A project team generally consists of a project manager, project coordinator, and project engineers, apart from allied groups of materials management, and finance. So we have a project team consisting of around 5 to 6 persons in a project. Then cost estimates, then management approvals, then environmental and statutory clearances. It is very important because we are handling hazardous fluid in offshore. So environmental, any seepage of oil or gas from any of the subsea pipelines or from the platform results in environmental threat. So we have to see that the environment is protected during the project life cycle. and statutory clearances. We have to take many governmental clearances for executing the job. Then project risk assessment. Risk assessment is very, very important because sometimes we end up in contractors bankruptcy also, and then we have got so many insurances in place to take care of the risk of the project. Project planning conceptualization continued, preparation of draft feasibility report. Then the development plan is prepared, that how will we go for it, how many wells will be drilled at each platform, and how many platforms will be there. Then available alternatives. Suppose we are not, it is costing more to bring this fluid to process platform, then we may go for other alternatives, that we will produce the oil and send it to a tanker instead of bringing it to a process platform, avoiding laying of subsea pipeline. Then viability analysis. Viability analysis, that whether it is commercially viable or not. The production is commercially viable or not. Then only we go for execution of the project. The viability analysis, we generally calculate IRR, that is investment returns ratio, then ROI, returns on investment, and then how many wells are to be drilled, what is the potential of the field, how much oil and gas is likely to come from each well. Depending upon that, and what is the payback period. Suppose we are investing $300 million. So, and production from that is around, say, 50,000 barrels per day. So we calculate what will be the payback period of our project. After that, we will start getting profit from the project. Then cost estimates. I will come and discuss with this cost estimate in subsequent slides. Then feasibility report consists of executive summary, need for the project, then project description, then availability of existing facilities, then development plan. Availability of existing facilities is that well fluid from that well platform will be brought to a nearby process platform. If it is too far away from the existing process platform, then we may go for another process platform in that vicinity. Then development plan, how will we develop? We will go in phases, where to drill a well, when to drill a well, in what sequence the drilling is to be done. So that all is covered in the development plan. Then cost optimization, as I told you, we take many steps for optimizing the cost. That was by optimizing the facilities of the well platform. Because more the facilities, the cost will be changed according to that. Then project implementation schedule. Then site investigation, because we have to do it in offshore. So we have to take a soil samples of that place, that what is the penetration at that place, what is the soil characteristics of that place, because that only decides the weight of the total platform. The weight of the platform, the jacket and topside runs in thousands of tons, maybe 2,500 tons, 3,000 tons or so. Then requirement of engineering consultant. If the project is new and we don't have a past experience of this, then we go for engineering consultant also, who provides us the consultancy for the entire project. And project planning, identification of project team. As I told you, project team consists of project manager, project coordinator, and project engineers. So project manager is the key person. He has to be very, very agile during the entire schedule of the project, because he is the person who deals with the contractors on a day-to-day basis and reports it to the higher management. So project manager has to have a vision that how to complete this project successfully in time within the given cost. And he is supported by project coordinator and project engineer. Project coordinators deals with the contractors' day-to-day activities, and then project engineers are there to support him. So the total team is around 5 to 6 persons. 5 to 6 engineers are there, including project managers. Then cost estimates. Cost estimates, we have in-house database because we are around more than 200 well platforms. So we have our in-house database also, that what was the cost of earlier this thing with similar facilities. And if facilities are changing, then we go for budgetary quotes also. We take the budgetary quotes from all the bidders. Then last purchase rate, if the similar platform was constructed earlier, so we have got LPR also, last purchase rate also. And then contingency provision. This is very important. Contingency provision, we have to keep some percentage of project cost as a contingency, because there are very much chances of unforeseen change in scope. So to cater for those changes in the scope, we have to provide a contingency in the project. So that also maybe 3% or 5% we have to keep as a contingency. Then project implementation strategy, requirement of design consultant. If it is required, then we go for a design consultant who will design the platform for us. But we have our own design department. Normally, they only do the designing of the platform. Then requirement of third-party agency, requirement of third-party certification agency, we call it CA and TPI. So these two are the main thing, because our team is very small, 5 to 6 persons only. So we take help of third-party inspection agency and certifying agency. They are continuously present in the yard of the contractor where the platforms are being fabricated. So they continuously remain there to check the quality of the platform. Thousands of joints are there in each platform. So they all take care of the quality of those weldings. They do the radiography of those joints. They reject sometimes that this is not approved. So for maintaining the quality of this thing and also quality of the procured material, they take random samples of the material that has been procured to ensure the quality of the material. Then requirement of project management consultant. As I told you, in case we don't have past experience of having that type of project because of the changes in facilities of the platform, we go for a project management consultant also. Now, tendering evaluation and award. First of all, we decide tendering schedule. What will be the tendering schedule? Because from tendering to placement of NOA, that is notice of award, it takes around 5 to 6 months time. So we have to decide the tendering schedule, that what will be our schedule of each activity of the tendering. Then bid evaluation criteria, we have to formulate a BEC, bid evaluation criteria, wherein we check the past track record of the bidders, both technical as well as commercial. So in technical, like whether he has got proven track record of earlier constructions or not. He has constructed similar project in the past or not. So that all is covered under bid evaluation criteria. And suppose one contractor is not in a position to have all the experience right from design till installation commissioning, then they can take help of their consortium partner. They can form a consortium. One of them will be having design and engineering experience. The other one will be having fabrication, installation, and commissioning. So we allow them to have a consortium as well. But they should have a proven track record of all these activities of the project, including design, procurement, fabrication, installation, and commissioning. All these aspects should be covered by them. They should have a proven track record of these things. Then we prepared bid package. There are many volumes of bid package giving technical details of the project and commercial criteria of the bids. So we have many volumes of bid package. Then invitation of bids. Once bid package is finalized and approved by management, then we go for invitation of the bids. Once bids are purchased by the bidders, our bidders are also, they may be Indian, but most of them are international also. So we float the tender, and the interested bidders, they purchase the bid, and then since scope of work is the main component of a bid, so to bring us on the same platform, we hold a pre-bid conference, wherein after receiving the bid, the bidder raises his queries that I am not able to understand what is this, what is meant by this, what is, there are many queries from the bidder. So we hold a pre-bid conference which is attended by all the bidders, prospective bidders. They all attend it. In the beginning, they send us the queries. We prepare the replies of those queries so that we are on the same platform. There is no confusion in the scope of work and schedules of the project. So in the pre-bid conference, we give reply to each and every bidder's queries, and then it is given to them, and the final bid is prepared, that now this is the final bid. Then after giving them a period of 3 or 4 weeks, we open the technical bid. They submit the bid and we open the technical bid. In technical bid, we see their technical competencies. Once they are technically competent, then only we go for opening of the price bid. Then evaluation of technical bid and shortlisting. We shortlist the technically qualified bidders and shortlist them. And only those who have technically qualified, only their commercial bid is opened. Others bids are kept just like that, and they are informed that you are not technically acceptable for this project. Then commercial bid. For a project of mega value of running in hundreds of $1 million, we have to be very, very careful in selecting the, in checking the commercial capability of the bidder, because we have to see that whether the bidder will be able to sustain their cash flows for the next 2 to 3 years. That is the completion schedule of the project, because it spans for a period of 2 to 3 years. Then we have to see that he is able to continue with the project for 2 to 3 years. He should have sufficient cash flows. So we have got many criteria, and in general, LSTK contracts have many criteria, commercial criteria, that what is the annualized turnover of the contractor, what is their debt to equity ratio, what is their net worth. All these parameters are checked, that whether he is commercially competent to complete the project or not, because we have seen in few cases where the contractor has gone bankrupt midway through the contract, and then we had to face a lot of problems in completing that project, because the contractor has already awarded placed purchase orders to many vendors, and then he has suddenly gone bankrupt. So we have to be very, very careful in checking the commercial capability of the bidder. He should be able to absorb certain shocks. Suppose he is not able to complete a particular milestone, because all the payments of contractor, they are milestone based. I will come to that in subsequent slide, that during planning package, we decide that these will be the milestones of the project. So after completing each milestone, he will submit the invoice. Our project manager will check it. Our project team will check it if there is any change in the price of that invoice, and then he will be paid that much amount, so that his cash flow is also maintained. So that is very important, to maintain his cash flow, so that he is able to fund the remaining activities of the project. After opening the commercial bid and price bid, we see who is the L1 bidder, that is the lowest bidder, lowest price bid. And then we, after taking approval of the management, we award the contract. We give him a notification of award. So after giving notification of award, the project execution comes into picture. But up to the NOA, placement of NOA, we check all the parameters of the technical competency and commercial competency of the bidder. Then only we go for placement of NOA. Because LSTK projects, they are awarded to EPC contractors only, because engineering, procurement, and construction, all the activities has to be done by the same contractor. And he is a single point contact for all the activities of the project. And secondly, before inviting bids, we ensure that the scope is freezed, because once the scope is freezed, then we should not go for any change in the scope, because changing the scope always results in change in cost. And since it is a fixed price contract, we cannot do it. And there are certain scope changes which are unavoidable. We have to go for that. But normally we should make all out efforts not to have any change in scope, because change in scope results in change orders which are high value change orders. And then there are conflicts between contractor and company to come to a final price of that change order, because contractor claims some $1 million or some thousands of dollars for that change order, and our costing team, they have their own criteria for doing the costing of that change order. So these conflicts are always there during change orders. So in our LSTK contracts, we always try to avoid change orders, and we take measures not to have any change order. But sometimes we have to go for change orders because of our own requirements. That time we negotiate with them. So we'll come to project execution. First of all, we have a kickoff meeting. Once NOA is awarded, then we hold a kickoff meeting. That is the first step of project execution. So for kickoff meeting, the successful bidder is called for a meeting which we call as kickoff meeting. And here he is supposed to submit a planning package. He will give us a presentation defining all the milestones of the project, timelines of the project, that by what time he will complete which project, which activity, and he will have say 20 or 30 milestones so that his cash flow is maintained. So all these things he will decide, and he will give us the milestones of the project. Then we do contract signing. NOA is simply a notice of award, whereas the contract is a full volume which gives a complete scope of work and all the clauses of the project. Then submission of performance bank guarantee, PBG we call it. He is supposed to submit the PBG after award of the contract, because we have to ensure that in case he fails to deliver the project in time, we can encash his PBG. Submission of insurance policies. This is very, very important, because all the insurance should be in place, whether it is, there are many types of at least 5 to 10 different vessels, different type of vessels which he uses for different activities in offshore. So all those vessels should be insured, all the manpower should be insured, all the equipment of this project should be insured. So he's supposed to submit the insurance policies in the beginning itself. All the insurance policies to cover all the risks of the project. So we call it a CAR policy. CAR is contractors all risk policy. So we have to try to cover all the risks. Then come design and engineering. As I told you, the successful bidder may do the design and engineering himself, or he may take help of or hire a design consultant who will do the designing of the platform from his side. Then comes procurement. Procurement of all the items in which sequence it will come, which item will come at what time. That all is done during procurement. That sufficient material info should be in place so that the activities of the yards are not hampered and he is able to complete the fabrication in his yard timely. So hundreds of POs are placed, purchase orders are placed. I will discuss these things all in detail when in the subsequent slides. Then comes fabrication. Fabrication of the jacket and then its top sides. That all is done in his yard. So our teams also go there from time to time to see the progress of work, and our third-party inspection agency and our certifying agency, they are round the clock to see the progress of the project and inform us. Then transportation. Once the jacket and topsides are fabricated in their yard, they are transported to the offshore. There it is to be installed. So they are transported in different vessels, and then that vessel is towed to the location where it is to be installed. Then comes installation, hookup, and commissioning. Once that is transported to the site, then it is installed there accurately. First jacket is lowered, and then top side is placed on the jacket. And then we do the pre-commissioning and commissioning. And finally, handing over the facility. So while installing the jacket, just slowly lower the jacket into the water, and then the jacket goes below the seabed. So we have to see accurately up to what depth it has to go down. And then we do the hammering of the legs so that it goes to a sufficient depth of design depth of below the seabed. So for that, hammering is done with the help of steam hammers or hydraulic hammers. Nowadays, hydraulic hammers are also there. So, and also there are two main types of jobs in our offshore. One is greenfield job, other is brownfield job. So any activity which is done afresh, like installation of a new platform or laying of a new pipeline, that comes under greenfield, where he is given full access to for doing his activities. So that we call as greenfield. Whereas if we are going for revamping of the platform with our production continuing from that place, we call it a brownfield job. So these are the two different types of jobs we generally define as greenfield and brownfield. So we have to be more careful. Safety measures are more stringent in case of brownfield job, because we are doing the activities on a running platform which is producing oil and gas. And oil and gases, as you know, they are hazardous. So we have to take all the safety precautions. We have a separate safety management team. Contractor also has his safety team. We also have our safety team. So they decide how to complete the project with safety, taking into measure all the safety precautions. So I will discuss other things in the subsequent slides. So we can, I think, take a break for 10 minutes, and then I will discuss the other things. In the meantime, I request you to prepare your questions for this, so that I will be answering those questions after the presentation is finished. We'll have a Q&A session. And also I will be discussing one or two cases where we had faced problems in this, and how we are covering the risk of that. So, Madam Sonali, Madam, can we go for break now? It is almost 10:55 now.
Yes, yes. So thank you, Subodh sir, for the presentation so far. And thank you for brushing up our PMP processes since it's been a long time. Most of us have completed our PMI certification.
Yeah.
And talking about LSTK projects, so in layman's parlance, we could relate it to the build, operate, transfer that we see for the highways, right?
Yeah.
So this is a new thing which we all learned. Thanks to you for that. And just to add, sir, we have attendees from Malaysia, South Africa, Gujarat, West Bengal chapter, and all over India, all other locations as well. So I just thought of sharing this information with you. So some questions have come up, but we can take them at the end of the session, as you just mentioned. So we'll take a break now. It's 10:51, and at 11:05, we will resume the session.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so we are back after a small break and let's resume the session. So we would like to inform you that feedback link will soon be provided in the chat box and request all participants to provide your feedback. And PDU details will be provided to all participants through the mail ID that is being used for registration for the session. So back to you, Subodh sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Sonali madam. So we are discussing about project execution. That we generally have a kickoff meeting and contract signing, submission of performance guarantees, submission of insurance policies, design and engineering, procurement, fabrication, transportation, installation, hookup and commissioning, and then handing over of the facilities. So coming to cost management, project cost management deals with various aspects of cost management of the project. And as I told you, we have a milestone payment formula because on day-to-day basis, we cannot pay to the contractor. So milestones are defined in the planning package that these are the milestones after which you will get the payment of the expenses you have incurred on this activity.
Subodh sir, can you
Ji,
please show us the presentation also?
yeah, presentation is already on.
Share screen is done, sir.
Share screen was not coming on this. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Wait for a minute. Huh?
Yeah, no problem. Sir, we can see the presentation now. We
Yeah.
can also see your see you.
Okay, thank you. So we can go ahead now. So I was talking about milestone payment formula. We do the payment on the basis of milestones achieved in the project. So there are many milestones. Suppose he completes the design and engineering. One part of design engineering, he is paid some amount depending upon the contract price. Then procurement of items, if he has placed the purchase orders to the vendors, then also we pay them. Once it is received, then and fabrication is achieved, say 50% of the job of deck completion is done, then also it is a milestone. Then completion of the jacket. So depending upon the milestones he has completed, we do the payment. Then he submits the payment invoice and project manager and project team clears it and send it to our finance team. And they made changes in the contract price if it is deviating from the what is given in the planning package. Then cash flow forecast. Cash flow forecast is very, very important because we can't afford to block complete project money for the project. So project manager has to envisage what all are the activities, what all are the milestones coming in 2-3 months, so that our finance man is able to know how much cash flow is likely to come in next 2 to 3 months, and only that much money is blocked for the project instead of blocking the complete project money. So cash flow forecast is to be seen by project manager. Then time management, as I told you during planning package, he has to submit complete schedule of the project, and then CPM per diagram using project management softwares like Primavera or MS Project. So critical path method is very important. He should know what all are the activities coming on critical path, what is the float available, so that we can focus more on our time schedule. whichever activities are coming on critical path, we have to ensure that those activities are completed within time because they don't have any float. And then we have got S curves for monitoring the project progress. So in every meeting, we discuss the S curve and whether we are falling on the same curve or we are going behind the schedule. Then continuous monitoring. I will take up this during communication management. We are monitoring the activity continuously by holding daily meeting, weekly meeting, monthly meetings, and management review meetings and subject-specific meetings we are holding to monitor the progress of the project. And also, contractor gives us in his weekly progress report and monthly progress report, he gives us a complete S curve that whether we are going as per schedule or not. Then completion schedule, whatever is the completion schedule given in the NOA, we have to stick to it, and contractor has to see that all the activities are completed as per the plan. Then incentive for early completion of the project. Sometimes we do have a provision in the contract that if contractor is able to complete the project ahead of schedule, say he was supposed to complete the project in 3 years, and if he completes it before 3 months, then some percentage of project cost is also given as incentive to the contractor for completing the project ahead of schedule. Then delays and midterm corrective actions and catch-up plans. If there are delays, then they are discussed threadbare in our management review meeting and other weekly or monthly review meetings. And corrective actions are taken to bring the project back on track. And contractor has to submit catch-up plans whenever he is going behind the schedule. Then liquidated damages as per contract. If contractor is not able to complete the project within the given time and he goes beyond the scheduled completion, then liquidated damages are applied to the contractor. So he has to pay penalty for this. Then force majeure. Force majeure are like cyclones are there, or storms are there, or even earthquakes, or even this COVID pandemic was there. We had to face so many problems during COVID pandemic, and sometimes 1 or 2 persons got COVID positive and they were evacuated from that place to shore. But the thing was, since it is having centralized AC system, so it required all the persons on board to be checked for COVID positiveness or negativeness. So for that many instances, we had to bring the vessel back to shore and then replace the COVID positive persons with new manpower, and then send the vessel back to field for completing the project activities. So this also had some delays because of COVID pandemic. And this comes under force majeure because the vessel had to come back to shore for offloading the COVID positive people and replacing them with new ones. And others were also checked for COVID test was done for all other persons on board. And when they were found COVID negative, then only they were sent back. Scope management, as I told you, change in scope prior to invitation bids is always welcome because freezing it will take care of the cost involved in the involved because of change of scope. But change of scope after award resulting in change orders is not advisable or for any project. So we should have measures to minimize scope changes. I told you, settling of the change orders is a Herculean task. And sometimes it so happens in our projects that even after completion of the projects, change orders could not be settled because we could not come to a same platform for cost agreement of the change order. So we should try to avoid scope changes at all costs. Then quality planning for procurement of the material, all the material is to be done as per the suggested vendor list. What we do in our company is we have a team of a few persons who empanel the vendors, qualified vendors. For each item, we have a suggested vendor list that these are the empaneled vendors, and you have to purchase material from these vendors only. And if you want to purchase any material beyond suggested vendor list, then you have to submit the PTR of that vendor, proven track record of that vendor. Many times it happens that because of certain unavoidable circumstances, the contractor has to go to some other vendors which is not in our vendor list, which is not empaneled with us. So he then says that this is his PTR, and after going through the complete documents, we allow him to place order on that. And then apart from this, to check the quality, for each item, the contractor's design team submits PS, purchase specifications, to our design team, and it is thoroughly studied, and then only we give approvals that yes, these purchase specifications are as per our requirement. So then only he places the order for that material. Then quality assurance, third-party inspections and certification agencies engaged for the project. As I told you, our TPIs and CAs are always there in the yard and also in offshore to check the quality of the activities going on. So quality of complete project is to be maintained during entire duration of the project. Then quality control, approved project quality control plans, tests and inspections are in place. Even we have our own quality control team who visits the contractor's yard regularly and check the quality of the material, quality of the buildings, quality of the equipment. So that all is done to ensure the quality. Then human resource management, work setup with well-defined roles and responsibilities. As I told you, project manager is the key person who bears the complete responsibility of the successful execution of the project, because project manager is the key person between top management and the contractor. So contractors at the same time, contractor also has a project manager, project coordinators and his own project team, and it is very much important to have a sync between these two teams. Contractors project management team and our project management team should be in sync, because then only project can progress very well. Otherwise, even a delay of one day may result in slipping over the project to the next season, because our season is, as I told you, our season is limited. Our window is very narrow for entire period. 8 months is the window. Remaining 4 months monsoon period, we cannot do any work. So both the teams should be in sync. And then responsibility matrix, clear roles, who does what, and responsibility, who decides what. That should be in place, because then only project can progress very well. So human resource management is important from this point of view, and also when the project is slipping behind the schedule, then contractor should try to depute more manpower to the project so that it is brought back on track. Then communication management, timely and appropriate project information flow is essential for the project. Formal meetings with contractors during entire duration of the project. As I told you, we have daily site meetings, weekly review meetings. These two are done by project coordinator, and project monthly review meeting is done chaired by project manager. Then management review meeting is there, wherein our chief of the engineering services, he chairs the meeting, and contractors gives the complete detail of the past activities and upcoming activities with respect to the S curves. S curves are the main tool to see whether project is going as per the schedule or not. And the contractor also has project management softwares to, he just feeds the inputs in the project management software to, and they get the complete progress of the project. Then reporting of the project activities. The progress reporting is done on daily basis, then weekly basis and monthly basis, wherein contractor gives us the complete details of the project progress. And any hindrance in the project activities is brought to the knowledge of project manager, and he then takes a corrective action to resolve that conflict and give the solution for the contractor so that the activities are not hindered. Risk management, as I told you, insurance policies should be in place because insurance policies are the risk transfer tools, because all the risks we cannot carry on our shoulder. So we transfer the risk to the insurance company. So all the insurance policies should be in place, because of anything if goes wrong during the project execution, it should be insured properly so that nobody is at a loss. Then risk analysis is carried out using methods such as HAZOP, HAZIT, and QRA. HAZOP is hazardous operations because our oil and gas operations are hazardous in nature. So we conduct HAZOP workshops wherein all the hazards during the execution of the project are identified, and how to mitigate those hazardous operations. We take corrective actions. Suppose one activity requires that there should not be any hazard on the nearby vicinity, then we have to go for shutdown of that particular area. So during this HAZOP, we discuss all such activities which are likely to come during each activity of the project. And then HAZID is hazard identification, and QR is qualitative risk management analysis. And then risk workshops are arranged to identify project risk, action proposed to mitigate the risk, and final outcome. We generally, risk workshops should be arranged on a regular basis, maybe monthly or quarterly basis, to identify the upcoming risks in the activities to be done in the next 2 to 3 months, and how to mitigate those risks by taking certain measures, extra safety measures to mitigate those risks. So these all are covered under risk management. Then project safety management. Safety is paramount for all projects. Safe operations during entire project activities are ensured through safety policy of the contractor and the company. We have our own safety manual for carrying out the project activities safely. And similarly, contractor is supposed to submit his safety manual, so that if there is a gap between his manual and our manual, then what are the bridging documents required for completing the safety manual. That is done. And contractor is required to strictly follow the safety procedures laid down in the safety chapter of the contract. And he has to have a dedicated safety officer and his team, safety officer team, who will be present throughout the project life cycle, whether it is in the yard or it is in the offshore. Then safety audits are performed periodically. We also have a safety team, HSE section of 4-5 persons who do safety audits of the project, whether it is in the yard or while installation and commissioning is going on in the offshore. So safety audits are also done by our team. Then all measures related to environment protection, pollution, and related statutory provisions as specified in the contract are ensured for compliance. Because safety is the main thing, particularly in case of oil and gas sectors, where we are handling hazardous fluid. We should always be very, very we should also always ensure safe operations, and for this, safety permits are given for carrying out any activity. So, and we should be prepared while hot jobs are going on. We should always be prepared with the standby fire protection systems. Then, after completion of the project, safety checks of facilities are carried out by a multidisciplinary team. Once the commissioning is done, and it is the time to hand over the platform to the user group, they check all the facilities from safety point of view by a multidisciplinary team. User group also send their person, our person, safety person are also sent to the site, and contractor site also their project manager and safety officer. They also come and do the safety checks of the facilities. So that all is covered in the safety management, because safety is of paramount importance. And there are incentives for accident-free hours. Contractor, some of the contractors have in their safety manual that if we cross say million man hours without an accident, then they give award to the crew of the vessel. So those all incentives are in place, that so that each crew member is encouraged to adopt the safety practices which are needed to do the activity with safety. Then closure management punch list is prepared. Once the facilities are handed over to us, then the performance bank guarantee of the contractor is returned to him, and then he submits a warranty bank guarantee. Because he has completed it, so there is no use of keeping the performance bank guarantee, because he has performed the work. But warranty for maybe as specified in the contract, maybe for 1 year or maybe for 2 years, that warranty is there, so he will submit the warranty in BG for in place of PVG. So after this, there are many items in a project. There are more than 100 or 200 punch points which are left during the project life cycle. So from time to time we visit and prepare the list that where are we deviating from the planned activities. Planned activity means suppose there is a valve which is malfunctioning. Although it is working to maintain the production, but its features are not matching. So that will be taken as a punch point, and contractor is required to replace this valve by another valve. So that is a punch point. So there are hundreds of such punch points. Laying of the cables is not done properly, or the routing of the pipeline is not done correctly. So there are many punch points in a project which are to be liquidated, and some portion of his payment is held up for completing the punch points. So punch points are a regular feature in any of the LSTK project. Then focus on validity of the warranty. As I told you that once he completes the project, his PBG is written, but warranty BGs are taken, so that all the punch points are cleared and its warranty period is passed through without any problem. Then contractor submits as-built documents. They are prepared and submitted by the contractor. As I told you earlier, contractor is supposed to give us MCIs and DCIs. DCI is document control index and MCI is material control index. So in DCI, he is supposed to submit all the drawings of the platform, whether it is piping and instrumentation that we call as P&ID, or general arrangement drawings, that which equipment is placed at which place and what are the distances and other things, so that in future whenever we need to revamp this, all these documents are available with us. So these are called as-built drawings, as-built documents. So he is supposed to submit all the as-built drawings before completion of the project. Then project completion report is prepared containing project brief, installed facilities, cost and time analysis, highlights, problem faced, and lessons learned. So the project manager and his team, generally we hold a meeting with closure meeting with all the stakeholders and even persons from PM and project manager and project coordinators from other projects. They are also invited, and the complete problems faced during the project and what are the lessons learned and how to avoid such reoccurrences of such activities in future. They all are discussed. So that is a sort of brainstorming session wherein all the problems which were faced during that project, they are discussed, and then lessons learned. So that for future projects, these are the lessons learned, and we take care of those problems in future.